Hello everybody and welcome back to Gript. So you may have seen that a number of TDs have been slammed by the media for their comments in regards to the direct provision centre that's planned for Uachtar in County Galway. We're joined by one of those TDs today. His name is Micheal Collins from Cork. So Micheal, you're very welcome. Thanks for joining us. So Micheal, what exactly did you say that seems to have stirred a hornet's nest here? I know you were interviewed on the topic of that direct provision centre.
Yes, I think I touched on two issues mainly, is the way this has been rolled out throughout the country, this direct provision. I think it's outdated, the system they have in place at the moment. I think that rural communities in particular are being ignored in the rollout of the direct provision. It's a case of a hotel that could be struggling, could be approached, a contract could be drawn up between the hotel owners and then it's related back out to the community. This could be a very small community. It may not be able to take the high influx of people that is expected it to take. You must also look at where there's a possibility here, because people say, oh, you don't want people to come in here. We could be looking at a proper resettlement program here for people, where they would be a lot of rural towns and villages where that needs an influx or an extra population of people could come in and resettle in the community. 2 or 3 families in that community could be very welcome and made very, very welcome and would feel warmly welcome there and would work with the community going forward. But in this situation, that's not happening. It's hotel owners are being approached, people are being notified once the deal is done with the hotel, and it's causing anarchy throughout this country and where it is happening. I also, the other issue I raised was that everybody, in my view, should be treated equally. And I myself, each week in my constituency, I speak with people that are homeless, that are sleeping in cars, sleeping in camper vans, and they can't find a home. And I meet them here in the streets in Cork, but in particular in Dublin when I'm here for the few days I'm in the Dáil, and I've often spoken to them. I've often contributed to them. And their one cry is that they don't have money for food and they don't have money to stay. They're basically homeless. Some are looking for money to stay in the internet cafe by night, and more then are basically left on the street.
And so do you think ultimately we're neglecting our own Irish citizens in favour of sometimes asylum seekers that are economic migrants? Is that your view, as it is Noel Grealish's view?
I think that everyone should be treated equally. And I suppose there should always be preference given to our own people, in my view, because they are suffering and they are on the streets and they're dying on the streets, and we've seen that happening. And then when this issue, and there's tens of thousands of people that could be facing homelessness in this country, when these issues are tackled, then we have to look at the issues that are out throughout the world to try and see, can we help in some way? And in doing that, we can look at a proper resettlement program, because it's more humane for the people that are coming in as well, and nobody seems to have much respect for them. I think it's a box-ticking exercise by the government. Bring in as many as we can, stick them into a hotel somewhere. We have large families inside in small hotel rooms. That's inhumane. And they're leaving one crisis and coming into another crisis.
And you've been labelled, along with Noel Grealish, as being racist and xenophobic and stoking anti-immigrant sentiment. Is that fair in your view, and when you take stances like this?
I think it's very unfair, but look, people have to make up their own mind on the way they see this. I think it's only right that somebody speaks up and speaks the way a lot of people are thinking. And a lot of people that I know of are not racist, that have spoken to me on this issue. They have very, very serious concerns, legitimate concerns. They haven't been listened to by government, and I certainly will be carrying their voice forward. I think the government needs to relook at this completely. They have to stop, as I say, taking out contracts at hotels in small communities where a huge influx of people like this, like coming in from all over the world, are not going to properly be resettled. And we need to look at a proper rural resettlement programme going forward. And until that is done, we need to stop and totally reconsider the whole idea of this direct provisions going.
Simon Coveney, or Taoiseach, has said that he plans on bringing some 500,000 people here in the next 20 years from abroad. Is that too many in your view?
At the moment it is, because we're not adequately able to house our health crisis in this country. We have a number of huge crises in this country, and we're bringing people in to further, I suppose, triple the situation where we are with HSE, with waiting lists and people suffering in pain in this country, and people bringing more people into that system. It's very unfair to do that. So I say, I don't want people to be coming in here that are going to further suffer after the suffering they've endured already. So maybe if Simon Coveney intends to bring in 500,000 people, he needs to lay out exactly what way he's going to do that. Is he going to go to every rural hotel in the country and sign a contract and then talk to the community people after us, the people in that community, about what he's going to do? Or is he going to start rolling out a proper rural resettlement where people from wherever they're from, let it be Syria or somewhere else, maybe 2 or 3 of them families can be comfortably resettled in a rural town and village? And that's not overburdening any rural town and village, and that can be equally set out throughout the country in a nice, fair manner.
Charlie Flanagan, our Minister for Justice, said that the people of Oughterard should step back from the situation. Minister Brendan Howlin labelled your own comments as being very dangerous, and the media in general seems to have taken a very different approach to what the general person on the ground has taken to this issue when it's come to their doorsteps. Why is it that there's such a disconnect there between official establishment Ireland and those on the ground, in your own view?
Well, the reaction, and I never look for any interview on this issue, but so people might think I'm trying to be populist in this issue. I'm not. I was asked, I was rang, I gave my comments, and people have asked me to do interviews afterwards. I think that the minister's entitled to his view, but I think he needs to go back and talk to the people of this country, because I've been overwhelmed. Incredible response, and it's not people being racist. People understand the situation we are. People see the people on the streets here. People know they're dying. People know they're hungry. People know that there's people in pain, suffering and waiting lists here, and we're furthering that by adding more people to the list. I'm asking the Taoiseach or whoever in power today to put before the people how they're going to house these 500,000 people when we can't look after the 10,000 people we have here that are looking for homes. There's a major issue here going forward, and that's where we need to be. That's where we need to study our focus on this going forward, and a bigger discussion needs to take place on this whole issue, and everybody needs to be included, and people need to just slightly step back and not get overexcited at all. Nobody is saying that nobody can come in here, but we need to look and see how we can be humane in our approach to these people.
Micheal Collins, thank you very much.